For millions of players, this road feels familiar. Wet earth, dark trees, stone walls, and a village that seems hidden from the rest of Europe. Resident Evil 4 calls its nightmare Valdelobos. Search a real map, however, and the village disappears. That is the first important truth. There is no single Spanish settlement that Capcom simply photographed and copied into the game. Valdelobos is a fictional composition, part rural Spain, part European Gothic tradition, and part carefully engineered survival horror arena. Yet the fiction works because so much of its visual language already exists in the real landscape of northern Spain. The resemblance begins with climate. This is not the sun-bleached Spain of postcards, but an Atlantic world of rain, valleys, forests, and cold stone. Galicia offers the strongest visual comparison. Although parts of Asturias, Cantabria, and Castile and Leon share many of the same ingredients. The game's village feels isolated because the real terrain can also compress communities between slopes, forests, rivers, and old agricultural land. Before horror enters the picture, these are practical places built around shelter, harvests, livestock, worship, and the difficult movement of people and goods. That ordinary quality is exactly what made the opening of Resident Evil 4 so unsettling. Leon does not arrive at a ruined fantasy world. He enters a community that appears to be working, cooking, tending animals, and cutting wood. The danger arrives through behavior, not architecture. Familiar actions suddenly stop, and the same lanes that welcome daily life become routes of pursuit. The most convincing connection begins with stone, especially the rough granite that defines so many Galician houses, walls, churches, and granaries. Granite is abundant, durable, and difficult to shape. Its weight gives even modest buildings a sense of permanence. Small windows, heavy doors, exterior stairs, and thick walls were not designed for horror. They answered climate, security, storage, and available materials. Photographed in winter rain, these buildings can look uncannily close to the visual memory of the game. But the Real villages are not monochrome ruins. They contain painted doors, gardens, laundry, cars, cafes, and generations of repair. Resident Evil removes much of that warmth, darkens the surfaces, breaks roofs, blocks doors, and lets vegetation reclaim the edges. The result feels authentic because the underlying construction remains recognizable, even after fiction pushes it toward collapse. Then come the Horios, raised granaries that are among the most distinctive structures in Galicia. Built above the ground, they helped keep grain dry and away from animals in a damp agricultural climate. Their long bodies, narrow openings, stone supports, and roof crosses can make them resemble tiny chapels, or even tombs, from a distance. That accidental ambiguity makes them ideal visual relatives of Resident Evil's rural world, even without proving that one exact Horio was copied. In Cambaro, rows of stone granaries stand beside narrow streets and the tidal edge, creating one of Galicia's most memorable architectural ensembles. The resemblance is strongest when the camera leaves the postcard viewpoint and moves close to the pillars, damp joints, locked doors, and narrow passages. The same is true of village churches. A modest bell tower can dominate a small settlement simply because everything around it is lower. In Resident Evil 4, the church becomes a symbol of Los Iluminados and a destination that pulls the player deeper into the village. Real Galician churches often stand near cemeteries, stone crosses, parish houses, and old agricultural buildings. The game rearranges those familiar elements into a landscape of secrecy, control, and religious threat. The transformation is powerful because it does not invent an alien architecture. It changes the meaning of architecture people already understand. Perhaps the game's greatest spatial achievement is the village square, the place where normal life and total danger occupy the same ground. A square is normally a place for exchange, announcements, work, festivals, and the daily negotiation of village life. Resident Evil turns that open social space into a trap by controlling sight lines, doors, roofs, fences, and the timing of movement. From ground level, the player can never see every approach at once. Corners, windows, alleys, and upper floors constantly hide information. That sensation is not created by a giant castle or supernatural landscape. It comes from the practical density of a small settlement. The design also uses vertical movement. Ladders, roofs, upper rooms, haylofts, and windows turn simple farm buildings into layered spaces. A window is not merely decoration. It is an entrance, an escape route, a viewpoint, and a place from which danger can appear. Fences and carts are equally important. They make the environment believable while quietly controlling where a body can move. This is why the village feels designed and discovered at the same time. Every object belongs to rural life, yet every object also shapes play. The forest surrounding Valdelobos intensifies the effect. Trees hide distance, paths bend, and the horizon almost disappears. In much of northern Spain, old routes really do pass between woods, stone walls, streams, and abandoned agricultural terraces. The game exaggerates that enclosure by reducing color, thickening shadow, and using mist to hide what lies beyond the next turn. Real Galician mist can be dramatic, especially in mountain valleys, but it is weather, not a permanent curse. By midday, the same village may be bright, green, inhabited, and completely unlike the endless gray morning remembered from the game. The game also compresses geography. Within one fictional region, it places a village, church, lake, mines, castle, industry, and fortified island. That arrangement serves narrative progression, not real municipal geography. A real northern Spanish village may have quarries, reservoirs, mines, or castles nearby, but rarely all of them arranged as one continuous obstacle course. The castle is another clue that Valdelobos should be read as a collage rather than a literal place. Its aristocratic scale belongs to a different layer of history than the farmyards and modest parish buildings below. Resident Evil brings those layers together because each new environment must feel larger, stranger, and more dangerous than the last. The original 2005 production was even more ambiguous about location than many players remember. Producer Hiroyuki Kobayashi described the setting at the time as a general European hamlet rather than Spain specifically, even though the villagers spoke Spanish. That uncertainty was part of the effect. Leon was meant to feel surrounded by people whose language and behavior he did not fully understand. The 2023 remake makes the Spanish identity clearer, with richer environmental detail and a more coherent sense of regional history. Even then, Valdelobos remains invented, a setting with its own mining past, cult mythology, and impossible concentration of environments. So how much credit should Galicia receive? Enough to explain the resemblance, but not enough to claim exclusive ownership of the inspiration. Asturias also offers green valleys, compact villages, raised granaries, caves, and mountain roads that can produce a similar visual echo. Cantabria adds forested slopes, limestone, old religious sites, and settlements pressed between mountains and the Atlantic. Northern Castile and Leon contributes mining histories, colder plateaus, stone villages, and a harsher relationship between settlement and terrain. Valdelobos may feel like Galicia, but it behaves like a synthesis of several landscapes and several genres of European fear. Its power comes from combining things that are individually believable until the whole becomes too concentrated, too decayed, and too hostile to be real. The real villages reverse that transformation. They restore color, distance, repair, conversation, and the slow routines that horror removes. A granary is not a tomb. A church is not automatically a cult. A forest path is not waiting to close behind you. But once a game teaches us to read these forms differently, the association can be difficult to erase. A wet bell tower, a half-open barn, or a narrow passage can trigger a memory created thousands of kilometers away on a screen. That is the deeper story behind Valdelobos. It is not a hidden destination, but a fictional memory built from real materials. Spain supplied stone, rain, agriculture, churches, mountain roads, and the visual logic of villages shaped over centuries. Capcom reorganized those ingredients, stripped away safety, compressed distance, and placed uncertainty behind every door. The village became frightening not because it was completely imaginary, but because it remained close enough to reality to be recognized. And that is why travelers continue to see Valdelobos in Galicia, even though Valdelobos has never existed. The map is fictional, the architecture is real, and between them lies one of the most convincing places ever created for a game.